I am Notme, I am Art, and I am welcoming you to Acolyte Poetry Corner Extra, the space where I get to share the poems that I just didn't have time for in the most week's show. This week's theme was vacations. Vacations that you've been on, vacations that you'd like to go on, fictional vacations, whatever you like. And then because last week's episode was the Flags of the World special, I thought, jam the flags in there as well somehow. We've got a couple of great poems for you today. The first is by longtime weekling and fan of Thursday night's I Am Smart quiz, so an elite fan, Killer Kilch. Now, Killer brings us a killer poem about a killer pandemic, the very killer pandemic that we are living through right now. Timely much? Can you spell zeitgeist? Sure. It's I before E except after C, right? The Rona got us stuck in Roma. It was but mere months ago. Some time away seemed cool, though. Sunny Hawaii, busy Ho Chi Minh City, or maybe Morocco. But the Rona got us stuck in Roma. Spontaneity gone, hopefully not until eternity. For now we eat more ice cream. For now we can pretend that once the world opens, there will be no vacation end. Beautiful. Round of applause for Killer here. I love the idea of a poem that has a rhyme scheme and then does not have a rhyme scheme. I think rhyme schemes by their nature give us a sense of security, of repetition, of comfort. But this says, hey, don't get used to this, okay? Because I might take away that rhyme scheme like that. Really, really good. Very exciting. The idea of eating ice cream and pretending as well, I like that a lot. I think that works very well. That's something that I used to do all the time after school. I think ice cream is a very good conduit for imagination, for pretending. Something about the temperature, I believe, although I'm not a scientist, so don't quote me on that, but I just remember getting home from school and just eating ice cream, just pretending that Tara and the rest of them just didn't even exist, and I could just go through a whole day at school just without being bothered. It's a great poem. Love it. Who's next? T.B. Douglas. T.B. Douglas throwing in their very first poem to Acolyte Poetry Corner, which is very exciting in and of itself. I like the idea of someone watching Acolyte Poetry Corner thinking, oh, I'm tempted, but I'm not really sure I could do that. And then seeing the poems that are on Acolyte Poetry Corner and thinking, I could do that. That makes me very happy. That makes me very happy indeed. So we'll have to see whether TB has beginner's luck, or whether their first poem shows them to be inexperienced and amateurish. My money's on the former, for what it's worth, but there's always a chance. You never know. Paradise Land. I wish I could visit it twice land, but it might become my vice land. Even though everything there had a high price land, I still feel entice land. A fortnight would be nice land, but a long weekend would suffice land. If you want my advice land, you should go and visit Iceland. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I love the rhyming in this. In a situation where you are trying to rhyme a word that isn't quite playing ball, it is okay to just kind of fudge around a little bit. Rhyme from the middle of the word. Add a little bit onto the end of the word and rhyme from the end of that, even if that new word that you've made up isn't actually a real word and it's just a fictional word that's come out of your head. You can cheat, I think, is what I'm trying to say here. Do it with enough confidence and it'll all just work out. Yeah, that's what TB has proven. Cheated with panache, I think it's fair to say. Nobody's going to say boo. Love it. Love it. And the poem has done the job that I assume the poem has set out to do, in that I now very much want to visit Iceland. I'm not 100% sure where Iceland is. and the only detail that TB sees fit to share about it is that it is expensive. And some people might say that that's not enough reason to visit a country, but I would say I've been to plenty of restaurants in my life where all I've known about them prior to was that they were expensive. And yes, I have got lost on the way to that restaurant. So if it's good enough for a restaurant, it's good enough for a country. Thank you so much to Killer and TB for these poems. Really, really worthy additions to Acolyte Poetry Corner this week. You took me away to somewhere else. And sometimes that's all I'm asking for. For next week's Acolyte Poetry Corner, we're looking at Will Smith's favourite and Eddie Cochran's least favourite season, summer. Okay, the sun, the long days, the hot weather, the indecent clothing, the terrible television, ice pops. Whatever you like, something about summer, get it down in a poem and email that poem to me at iamnotme@gmail.com. Okay, and I will perform it 100% guaranteed, either on the Most Week show on Sunday or on the next edition of Acolyte Poetry Corner Extra. Before we go, I would just like to give a quick shout out to this chair. This will be the last Acolyte Poetry Corner that I do with this chair. It has served me well. It has a lovely rocking function because it is in fact designed to be a milking chair, a nursing chair for a mother and a baby, but I thought, well, I'm going to use it in a slightly different context. I'm going to mix things up. It's art, sue me. But then the other week I saw an advert in a newspaper or magazine, I can't remember, where David Moscow was advertising a different type of chair. David Moscow, of course, who played the young version of Tom Hanks in Big, one of my favourite films of all time. And so if it's good enough for David Moscow, I knew I needed that chair in my life. So I'm going to give this chair away to a very worthy recipient, and I'm going to get a new chair for the next Acolyte Poetry Corner. But I would just like to say, chair, thanks, buddy. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join us on the next Acolyte Poetry Corner Extra. I hope you join us on the next Most Week show on Sunday and the next I Am Smart quiz on Thursday nights. But until all that time, remember, any old jumble of words can be a poem if you only believe.
Notme made this super cool art for himself, but also for you. And now the art is done, there's something he would love you to do. A like would be great, but if you subscribe, that would be swell. He needs 100 subscribers for his custom URL.